So in the novel, of course, the Nazis, the German intelligence service, the Italian intelligence service steal supposedly Nikola Tesla's death ray beam. Ergo, fast forward to 1944, 1945 Berlin. Is there a mysterious undiscovered bunker that the Nazis had built? Why was that bunker defended to the last man by an SS battalion or division? What happened to that bunker and what happened to the people that fought there? And that leads the reader to the question of what links are there to Kurt's present day law and a mysterious Nazi SS officer?
Hey everyone, and welcome. I am Morgan Giss McDonald, founder, CEO of Paper Raven Books, and I have with us today a super special guest. If you like historical thrillers with kind of a psychological paranormal twist, you are in the right spot. We have with us today the author of A Face in the Night, Ray Kessler. Thanks for being here, Ray.
So glad to be here, Morgan.
Okay, so I'm super excited about this book because you have woven together so many different styles and themes into this power-packed book. Can you kind of dip us in? So who do we get to meet in this book and what's happening?
Sure, glad to. So the book basically starts out in 1999 and it revolves around the district attorney of Berlin. His name's Kurt Becker. And he's one of Germany's better DAs. And he's involved in a lot of interesting investigations. He investigates past Stasi crimes against the former West Germany. Germany in 1999, of course, is already unified. But he's doing a lot of investigations there. He certainly also has some investigations with drug cartels. So he has a lot of enemies, right? And he is a besieged DA, has a lot on his plate. He's working 13-hour days, 6 days a week, travels internationally, has to get information from all over the world about these investigations. So essentially in December of 1999, all of a sudden he's involved with a construction project because he has to vet this construction project for the Conservative Party of Germany, of which he is a member. Technically speaking, DAs in Germany, just like in the States, are independent, but they all have a political affiliation. So he vets this project, and lo and behold, they discover that there's a problem with the construction project. That problem is below that project, they start digging and it reveals an previously undiscovered World War II Nazi bunker.
Awesome. Okay, so we're getting kind of the flavor already. We've got modern day Germany, end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, and we're discovering all sorts of things, kind of cracking open about maybe the 1930s, 1940s, World War II era that was previously undiscovered. And Kurt's story is interesting because we were talking about this sort of pre-recording. He was adopted as a child. Can you tell us a little bit about his backstory?
Sure. So during the Third Reich, there was a large Nazi eugenics program taking place. In German, it's called Lebensborn. So Kurt is a Lebensborn child. So he grew up with wonderful adoptive parents, but they had told him at one point, hey, you are an adopted child, and you are a Lebensborn child. So that definitely affected his ability to, I guess, as any adopted child, they wonder who their real parents were, right? So he grew up in the 1950s in Berlin. And of course, there's another twist of the story in that his parents were prominent members, or his father more so, of the German resistance movement against Hitler and the Nazis. So he grew up as a child and was accused of, other kids told him, hey, your parents were traitors. And he had a whole backstory as it relates to that. So I guess to sum it up, growing up like that and then becoming a famous DA, he had a lot of excess baggage to deal with, and the stress and strain of everything he did caused him to, I guess, have a little bit of substance abuse. He liked to go out and drink and party. He was certainly a ladies' man. I mean, he was married to a wonderful woman, but he was at a lot of different events throughout Germany. And so, of course, that caused some issues with him as the story unfolds. And it really comes to a head on New Year's Eve, 1999, 2000. So, of course, he's invited to attend a party at the famous Berlin Brandenburg site of the Adlon Hotel. And of course, they all celebrate until the early morning hours. His wife goes home early. His driver takes him back to the villa, drops him off, and Kurt feels or believes he saw a mysterious face. Of course, he had a lot to drink, so I wasn't sure, did that really happen? And this face continues to pop up in his dreams. And so he has an issue with reality, what's really happening and what's not happening. Is this all just the stress and strain of his job and having too much to drink and occasionally taking some Valium, or is there something more to it?
Well, and you really get to play with some of these themes because it is kind of like psychological. There's some discussion of psychic warfare even. Can you give us a little bit of insight into like what is psychic warfare and what are these characters kind of discovering in the novel?
Sure. So there's a lot of characters surrounding Kurt. And again, it's important to mention that it does move through history. So it obviously begins in 2000 Berlin, but it moves back to 1942 Berlin, from 1942 until 1945. So it takes the readers to some interesting side stories about psychic warfare, the Nazis, their interest in using it. So, of course, it's well known now that the Nazis used psychics and psychic warfare against the English and other allies. And conversely, the allies, the English, did the same to the Nazis. So that's one aspect of it. And of course, then the whole concept of the novel then moves to 42, 43 New York City. And I'm sure most of the readers are familiar with the New Yorker Hotel and, of course, Nikola Tesla, the famous scientist, brilliant man. So he lived on the 33rd floor of the New Yorker Hotel. And during that time when he was in New York, he was working on a weapon, I guess you would call it a death ray beam. You know, he already believed in mutually assured destruction back then. He wanted to have a weapon that would prevent mankind from destroying themselves. So in the novel, of course, the Nazis, the German intelligence service, the Italian intelligence service steal supposedly Nikola Tesla's death ray beam. Ergo, fast forward to 1944, 1945 Berlin. Is there a mysterious undiscovered bunker that the Nazis had built? Why was that bunker defended to the last man by an SS battalion or division? What happened to that bunker and what happened to the people that fought there? And that leads the reader to the question of what links are there to Kurt's present day law and a mysterious Nazi SS officer?
Yes. So if you're a fan of historical novels, thrillers, psychological, psychic warfare, paranormal twists and turns, if you like Dean Koontz, you like Eric Larson, any of those sort of like novels set in the World War II era, this one is going to be for you. If you're here and watching us, I recommend that you go ahead and check out Ray Kessler's book, A Face in the Night. Go to paperravenbooks.com/A Face in the Night. Because we're launching the book right now, we do have a promo running for the ebook. So you can actually go ahead and grab the ebook right now. Go to paperravenbooks.com/A Face in the Night, all one word. Click the link next to this video. It'll take you straight over to Amazon. You can grab the ebook, you can grab a physical version of the book, and go ahead and load it up on your Kindle or get it in the mail so you can hold it in your hands and dive into A Face in the Night. And Ray, so one of the things that I think is really fascinating about this book is the depth of historical research that you have really put into the foundations of all of the characters and the scenes and the setting. How did you go about doing this research? Like, is this sort of just a lifelong research project for you?
Well, it's been a lifelong interest. I mean, obviously, I'm a historian and studied international relations and lived and worked in Germany. So, the whole concept of the effect of World War II on Germans and others was really important. So, I did a lot of research into this book in terms of the historical components. Of course, we blended historical facts with fiction, of course. A lot of names and events have been changed, obviously, because some of the people are still alive. But it is really based on a lot of history. I'll give you one example. Nikola Tesla. There are now recently released Freedom of Information archives that talk very specifically about a mysterious relative of Nikola Tesla's who apparently worked for a foreign intelligence service and who apparently helped possibly steal Nikola Tesla's death ray beam blueprints. So, of course, the whole question of the mysterious undiscovered Nazi bunkers, there are still theories out there that there are some undiscovered bunkers in Berlin. The whole question of Nazi wonder weapons, did they in fact come up with a death ray beam weapon? The whole aspect of the German resistance movement, the fact that it was much larger than initially thought and began in the early, well, 1938 with Munich. They really did try to do a coup or a putsch against Hitler. So we try to blend in a lot of different historical events, facts, and we actually throw in some interesting information about local eateries and restaurants and some recipes. Whether you're interested in romance, there are also some romantic portions to the novel, or history, or psychology, or Carl Jung. It's all packed into that novel.
So yeah, who's our female counterpart? When does she enter the picture?
So, the wife of the English ambassador, Anne Macmillan, is a wealthy English heiress, and she is the last surviving member of her family. In the novel, there is a scene that takes place in Spain where she's doing a photo shoot. She's actually a famous Vogue model, and she's doing a photo shoot near Almeria, Spain, with her brother. And then, of course, something happens to her brother. So, as the novel evolves, she meets up with the current English ambassador to Russia, Sir William Blakemore, and they end up marrying. They end up falling in love with each other. And Sir William is posted to Berlin, ergo Anne moves from the UK to Berlin. And then the novel takes its twists and turns. As it turns out, there's really a question as to what Sir William's real intentions with Anne are. And Anne, at some point in the novel, meets up with the district attorney of Berlin, Kurt Becker. Anne has her past. She has questions of what is real and what is not. So the reader is taken along a path of open questions about reality and also the unexplained.
So good. So good. All right, folks, if you're still here, if you're curious, if you're like, oh, they're talking about World War II and Nikola Tesla and death rays and Carl Jung and the Brandenburg Gate area, if this is getting onto your imagination, then this is a book for you for sure. Go ahead and grab a copy while you're here, while you're listening to us. So you can grab the launch promotional ebook. Go to paperravenbooks.com/A Face in the Night. Ebooks there, physical versions there. Go ahead and order a copy today while you're here and while you're thinking about it. And Ray, any last words for your readers who are going to be diving into A Face in the Night?
So one of the other aspects of past German history that we really focus on is the Germans of Jewish faith. And so there are a couple key characters in the book. There is a German-Israeli investigator at the end who bases a lot of her work on the famous Austrian-American investigator Hans Holzer, and her name is Carola Steinberg. And Carola leaves Israel to go to Berlin to help Kurt Becker and Anne investigate these unexplained questions that are taking place around them. And of course, in the novel, we delve into Carola Steinberg's grandfather's past. He served Germany under the Kaiser, fought loyally for his country, was awarded the Iron Cross. And that was an important aspect of the novel that we also wanted to explore. And I think that there's so much packed into this novel that pretty much any reader is going to find it interesting. And so I really, really hope you take a moment and click on the links that Paper Raven has provided you and get this novel, because you won't be disappointed. disappointed.
Yep. Get it for yourself. Get it as a gift for somebody else. This is going to be one that folks remember. So thank you, Ray, for putting your lifetime of research into A Face in the Night and writing it for us. We so appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. Go to paperravenbooks.com/A Face in the Night, all one word. Link will take you right over to Amazon. You can grab the ebook, you can grab the physical book, and we hope that y'all enjoy. All right. Thanks for everyone for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.